everybody. Today is Wednesday, January 24th, and today's the day that I am experimenting with my sourdough. So I'm experimenting with just the starter. This week I did make some sourdough discard tortillas, and they turned out really well. And so today I'm being a little ambitious and I'm trying sourdough discard cinnamon buns. So we'll see how that goes, because this recipe isn't like a gluten-free sourdough recipe, it's just a normal one, but I feel like it should still work. And I mean, sourdough is all about trial and error, so if it doesn't work out, then we know for next time. If you saw the end of my last video, I have been feeding my sourdough starter every single day, and so far so good, I think. I still feel a little bit intimidated to try and make bread, especially because my last day, that would have been recorded in the last vlog, there was some mold growing on top of my starter because I decided to try and keep my sourdough starter a little bit warmer by keeping it in the oven with the light on. Like the oven wasn't on, just the light was. But I noticed it wasn't very happy, and then the next morning there was mold on top. But it was just the top layer, so I scraped off the top, discarded the top half, and put it in a new jar. And it's rising, it's bubbling, it's doing what it's supposed to. And so eventually we're gonna try making sourdough bread. But for right now, we are starting with sourdough discard cinnamon buns. So it's currently in its bulk ferment. So this is gonna sit now for the night, 10 to 12 hours, whatever. And then we'll see you in the morning. Good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, January 25th, and it's time to make the cinnamon buns. So I left the dough sitting underneath the oven light overnight, and gluten-free doesn't rise quite as much as regular, but it did rise a little bit, and it does smell like nice and sourdoughy. And so we are gonna, the recipe that I'm using says to mix in baking soda and baking powder now, because it affects, you don't mix it in initially because it affects like the rising process like overnight, but this helps it to skip out on the second ferment. So got that. Houston, we've got a problem. So I literally can't pick them up and put them into the dish because they just disintegrate. So we're gonna have to get creative here. Okay, so those are definitely not the prettiest cinnamon buns out there. I kind of anticipated that happening because I think every other time I've tried to make cinnamon buns, they just kind of break apart. I think next time I would just add more flour to this dough because I think that's kind of what was going on. But that was to be expected. It wasn't a gluten-free recipe. It was just a regular one that I was converting to gluten-free. So we'll see how that turns out. Okay, you
guys, moment of truth. We are trying the sourdough cinnamon bun. I literally haven't had a cinnamon bun in so long, like so long, especially with this sauce. Like, this sauce is my mom's sauce. I'm excited, you guys. Okay, sorry if it's crooked. There it is. We're gonna take a bite. That's like being transported back to my childhood. Oh my goodness. They're a little bit tough, but that's okay. That is so yum. Okay, I'm gonna go enjoy this. I'll catch you later. Good morning, everybody, or maybe I should say good afternoon. Today is Saturday, January 27th, and I have some bad news. I have to start over on my sourdough because this is like the third or fourth time that I have seen mold growing on the top, and not just like a tiny bit, like he's fuzzy on top. So we have to start over, and I think the reasoning is probably our water, because it is tap water just run through a Brita, so I think that wasn't enough filtering for it. And number two, I just think maybe gluten-free flour. Like, what was happening to my starter was it was rising really quickly, and then it would like fall overnight, and that's usually when I noticed that it was molding, because it was doing so good during the day. It was like usually the next morning when I would wake up, it would have like mold, or it would have like fallen a lot. So I think it's getting hungry and then not having anything to feed on. So I might try feeding it twice a day. And instead of this filter, I think it might be getting too much air. So I'm gonna try putting a lid just like loosely on top and see if that helps. Yeah, but thankfully I do have discard from like a couple previous like times. So I can start from this discard, because this discard didn't have mold. Because whenever it had mold, I like fully discarded like the mold. I didn't put it in the discard batch. So I'm gonna quickly whip up a new sourdough starter, and then I'll chat with you in a bit. Okay, so I'm back, and I was just going, sorry, I have like, my kitchen is messy. Don't, just ignore it. Everywhere is kind of messy. So currently I am preparing for a CT enterography for next week, Friday. So this vlog will already be up, but I wanted to show you what I will be doing to prepare for it. So a part of the instructions is that I need to go and get blood work. So I have the paperwork for that. All I have to do is Monday I will go get that done, and then Wednesday and Thursday are a clear liquid diet only. So like very clear, like and only liquids. So I just barely got back from grocery shopping, so I was going to show you what liquids I've picked up for this liquid diet. So the first thing that I picked up is these Propels. I've never had Propel before, but it said not to just do water, and this is like an electrolyte drink that's completely clear but flavored, and they're really good. I've never had them before, so I bought a pack of Propel. I also have chicken broth, because it says that I am allowed to have chicken broth. I bought this tea. It is like a probiotic tea, but it's like peppermint and fennel, and so I have been wanting to try that for a while, so I figured why not try it when I'm only allowed to do liquids. I also got, oh, I put all of my Propel in front of it, just a minute. I got the Kiju apple juice, and the Kiju lemonade. So that's those that I got. What else did it say I was allowed to have? I also have ginger ale because it said that I am allowed to do that. I'm probably gonna have to go buy more of these, but I have these like little mini Italian ices. These are lemon flavored, so they're completely clear. So I have those for when I'm like tired of drinking things, then I can have one of those. So that is all of the clear liquids that I have, as well as water. And I'll be doing that for Wednesday and Thursday. I've never had a CT enterography before, so I'm feeling like pretty nervous because online it says that you have to drink like about 1.5 liters worth of like barium liquid and or like contrast, and that makes me super nervous because I can barely even tolerate 1 liter of water a day, let alone like 1.5 liters of water in like an hour. And then, I mean, contrast runs like right through you. So they like literally recommend adult diapers. And so I'm pretty nervous about that because we have 1.5 hours drive home after this test. And so I'm pretty like nervous about it, but I'm trying not to think too much about it and just praying about it. And I don't know, it's just part of the process of trying to figure out what's going on. And so, yeah. I have also recently started a couple of new medications. I say a couple because I tried one, didn't like it, and then started a new one. So we're trying to get my POTS under control. That's something that I don't talk too terribly much on here as either. I mean, it does affect me a lot, but I don't think I realized just how much it was affecting me until I took the Resotran that was prescribed to me by my GI doctor, and then it made my heart rate go all funky. It kind of made me realize just how uncontrolled my POTS really is. And so beginning of January, I tried out propranolol, and it was really messing with my moods, and I just felt like I didn't have control of my emotions or my mind, and made me really tired, and I sweat so much while I was on that medication, which I don't think is normal either. And so I'm now on a medication called Lancora, or also known as ivabradine. It has really good reviews among POTS patients, and so I am on a low dose of that. With my, Sunbeam. I'm on a low dose of that with my midodrine to try and control my POTS. So the midodrine, basically what it is meant for is to bring up your blood pressure, because a lot of people with POTS struggle with low blood pressure, which drives up their heart rate. So if you raise the blood pressure, it's supposed to bring down your heart rate, but it wasn't doing that enough for me. So now the ivabradine or Lancora is meant to bring down the heart rate. But because it can cause low blood pressure, it's good to be paired with the midodrine, because then you have the medication that's controlling your blood pressure and you have one that's controlling your heart rate. So once we know whether or not those medications are keeping my POTS under control, then we'll be able to try the Resotran again, but on a smaller dose, to see if we can maybe control some other symptoms. But honestly, I've just needed to take a step back and a break from, I don't know, like pushing my doctors, because it was just, I was getting nowhere, and my doctors just like, I think they feel like their hands are tied and they don't know what to do with me. And that's really frustrating as a patient, because I don't know what to do. I've done everything on my end to try and control my symptoms, and they are out of control. And so that part is really frustrating from a patient's perspective, because what I can see is there's so much more that they could be doing that they're not doing. But I also know that our system is very overloaded. And so there are a lot of like barriers in the medical system that I can't see. And so I've been taking a step back to just pray through the next steps and what I should be pursuing and what I should be pushing for, and then just kind of taking a little bit of a break to do whatever I want, honestly. Being sick all the time and being at the doctor all the time is really mentally and emotionally and physically exhausting, and that means that I also am having to save my energy for those appointments instead of spending it with friends and family or doing activities that I enjoy. So I'm planning to spend the majority of February just enjoying whatever I want, basically. Enjoying my hobbies, enjoying my friends, enjoying my family, and just taking the time to do things that I love. And then also during that time, just praying and considering what is next, and then jumping back into it and pushing in to figure this out, because it's, when I say that it's out of control, it is out of control, and it's out of my control. And I mean, it is in God's hands, but sometimes it's a little bit scary because I'm a control freak, so that can be a little bit scary, but it's a good exercise for me on trusting the Lord and his timing and provision and his guidance as well. So I'm going to close out this video here. So don't forget to give this video a like, and if you want to continue to follow along on my journey, I'd really love to have you. So I would encourage you to subscribe, because we are pushing for answers. And if you're someone who also just feels like you're at a loss for answers and just needs someone who is in the same boat, come join the party, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!